The easiest person to control is not the person with no money. It is not the person with no power. It is not even the person with no options. It is the person with no inner identity. Because once someone needs to be seen badly enough, they will rent out their beliefs for attention. That is the part people do not like to admit. The need to be seen feels innocent, human, normal. But when it becomes hunger, it becomes leverage. And anyone who can feed that hunger can guide your behavior. Most people think attention is power. It is not. Attention is only power when you can walk away from it. If you need it, it owns you. If silence makes you panic, you are not free. You are managed. Control does not always arrive as force. Sometimes control arrives as applause, as inclusion, as compliments, as someone finally saying, "We see you." And for a person starving for recognition, that sentence can become a contract, because validation is cheap currency, but expensive debt. At first, it feels like confidence. Then it becomes expectation. Then it becomes dependency. Then one day, you are not asking what is true anymore. You are asking what keeps the attention coming. Nobody sells their soul in one dramatic moment. They sell it in small edits. One opinion they hide. One boundary they lower. One fake laugh. One truth they soften. One person they pretend to respect, because that person has status. That is how character gets negotiated down, quietly. You see it every day. Someone posts something honest. Nobody reacts. Then they post something exaggerated. People reward it. So they exaggerate again. Then they provoke. Then they simplify. Then they become a cartoon version of themselves, because the cartoon gets more attention than the truth. The algorithm does not need to destroy your character. It only needs to reward your weakness. Again, and again, and again, until the rewarded version of you starts feeling like the real version of you. That is not expression. That is training. It happens in real rooms, too. A group says something you know is wrong. You feel the disagreement rise in your chest. But then you calculate the cost. Will they judge me? Will they exclude me? Will I lose access? Will I become invisible again? So you stay quiet. Not because you agree, because belonging has become your payment. It happens at work. The boss praises the person who never challenges anything. The team rewards the person who mirrors the room. So people learn, do not be accurate, be agreeable. Do not be honest, be useful. Do not be principled, be liked. And slowly, the room stops producing truth. It produces obedience. It happens in friendships. Someone only values you when you entertain them, when you flatter them, when you support their version of reality, when you never make them uncomfortable. So you shrink, you become easier, less direct, less honest, less yourself. And they call that peace. But it is not peace. It is approval disguised as connection. It happens in relationships too. Someone gives you attention, then withdraws it when you disobey. They praise you when you perform. They go cold when you have standards. They teach you that love is available, but only if you become manageable. And if you already need to be seen, you may confuse control for affection. So the real villain is not attention. Attention is neutral. The real villain is the part of you that will trade your standards just to avoid feeling invisible. That is the weak point. That is the door. That is where manipulation enters. Be careful who makes you feel important. Sometimes they are not giving you value. They are teaching you what you must become to keep their approval. They give you a label, then they make you protect it. They give you access, then they make you fear losing it. They give you identity, then they tax your independence. That is how status controls people, not by chaining them, by making them afraid to fall. A person desperate to rise socially can be moved with very little. A compliment, an invitation, a public mention, a private connection, a seat near power, and suddenly their loyalty becomes negotiable. The more someone needs to belong, the cheaper their loyalty becomes, because belonging becomes payment, recognition becomes payment, being included becomes payment, and once inclusion becomes payment, exclusion becomes punishment. That is why needy people are easy to control, not because they are stupid, because they are hungry. And here is the uncomfortable part. Most people are not controlled by fear alone. They are controlled by the hope of being chosen. Chosen by the crowd. Chosen by the powerful. Chosen by the attractive. Chosen by the successful. Chosen by people they secretly believe are above them. That hope can make a person abandon themselves, while calling it ambition. This is how the false self is built, not through one lie, through repeated performance. You become the person who gets the reaction. You keep the opinions that get approval. You bury the instincts that create conflict. You polish the version of yourself that sells. Then one day, you do not know whether you are expressing yourself or maintaining a character. The crowd is a dangerous parent. It loves you when you feed it. It forgets you when you stop. It praises you when you perform. It attacks you when you disappoint. So if the crowd raises your identity will never be stable. It will move every time the room changes. Now compare that to someone who does not need to be seen, not someone bitter, not someone antisocial, not someone pretending to be above people, but someone who knows who they are before the room reacts. That person is difficult to control because you cannot bribe them with approval. You cannot starve them with silence. You cannot punish them with invisibility. That is why quiet confidence is dangerous, not because it is loud, because it is independent. A person who does not need constant validation can think longer, move slower, say no cleaner, walk away faster, and negotiate from reality, not insecurity. The real test is not who you become when people praise you. The real test is who you remain when nobody claps. Do you still build? Do you still train? Do you still tell the truth? Do you still keep your standards? Do you still move like your life matters when nobody is watching? Because that is where identity is built. Not in attention, in repetition. Here is the moral dilemma. Wanting recognition is human. Wanting respect is human. Wanting to be seen is human, but needing it is dangerous. Because the moment attention becomes oxygen, you will breathe whatever the crowd gives you, even if it is poison. The rare mind. Rule is simple. Use attention, never need it. Use status, never worship it. Use visibility. Never confuse it with value, because value exists before the room notices. And if your worth depends on being seen, then whoever controls the spotlight controls you. So be careful when you feel desperate to be noticed. That hunger is information. It tells you there is a place inside you, still waiting for permission. And if you do not fill that place with discipline, someone else will fill it with influence. If you do not build an identity, someone will offer you one, and they will not offer it for free. The goal is not to disappear. The goal is not to reject success. The goal is not to pretend attention does not matter. The goal is to become grounded enough that attention becomes a tool, not a drug. To be visible without being owned. To be respected without being dependent. To be known without being purchased. So here is the question. If nobody clapped for you, would you still be the same person? If nobody rewarded your discipline, would you still keep it? If nobody validated your truth, would you still speak it? Because the person who needs attention can be guided, but the person who knows who they are has to be negotiated with. If this made you think, subscribe for more truth, and tell me in the comments, what controls people more, fear or the need to be seen?